After leaving you, a narcissist is very stressed out and angry. Ever wondered why a narcissist becomes furious and stressed after leaving you? Let's dive into the chaotic aftermath of a narcissist's departure and why it sends them spiraling. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss our latest content. If this resonates with you, give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Alright, let's get into it. Picture this. A narcissist has left you. They're furious and stressed because, despite their attempts to manipulate you into submission, you didn't bow down and worship them. They realize you've reached your limit and refuse to indulge their insatiable need for attention. So they walk away, feeling both satisfied and betrayed. Why does this happen? You were their primary source of narcissistic supply. They constantly pestered you, made threats, and manipulated you to get what they needed. But when you've been gaslighted, triangulated, and devalued for too long, you eventually snap and start to distance yourself. This loss of control over you leaves the narcissist in a state of panic and anger. They're no longer able to draw the energy they crave, and this realization drives them crazy. So, if you find yourself dealing with a narcissist, remember this. Their stress and anger post-breakup are a sign that you've reclaimed your power. Since their main source of supply begins to pull away, narcissists start to panic. Suddenly, they have to face the consequences of their choices and being separated from such an important source for them. They are thrown into terror when they think about being turned down, abandoned, and deserted. The narcissists will often foreshadow this by preparing for possible substitutes, their harem, and usually conveniently talk to these girls in secret on Weibo or WeChat. With this plan, they can go from supply A to supply B right away. They pay much attention to supply B and become the skillful, affectionate, caring suitor that every man dreams of being. A narcissist's craft is quite effective. Thus, supply B falls for it, imagining a bright future together with them. Narcissists are skilled at getting their own way. When they become worse in their treatment of the main source, the main part of their strategy is carried out. They denigrate the main source and move closer to their rear supply. This behavior provides a reason for doing it, as well as their next move. More insidiously, the narcissist starts a campaign of lies against the main source, the person who loves and takes care of them. By damaging the image of their main source, this cunning ploy aims to answer why the narcissist left. The narcissist gets the attitude of the main source rotten, and then uses that as proof in a smear campaign against them. In public, a narcissist seems well-mannered, hence socially, it works well. People think of him as good because, say, he often does religious or community service. Therefore, his vilification of the main source seems believable. Narcissists change the idea of a soulmate in order to ensure other people cannot see who they truly are and keep up their counterfeit image. They are desperate to find somebody fresh because they want to keep up the funny pity, as they fear facing their own shortcomings and vulnerabilities. In order to meet with some praise or admiration, their relationships all move on the same way one source provided. They carry their followers off with them, leaving the person responsible for the entire mess behind to pick up the pieces and start all over again. Being left alone is not merely the source of narcissistic pain, but also a threat to their very identity. They have to convince themselves and others that they are better than all the others, more successful, more spiritual, just better all around. They are afraid of being left behind, of feeling so left out in the cold that they have to face their real selves, which they have tried so hard to leave behind. And it's a condition they hate, dread, and are ashamed of. NPD people adopt all kinds of pretenses to hide who they really are. No matter how hard they try, there are times when they actually come into their own house and see themselves as not another soul under the roof. And when that happens, it becomes blindingly clear who they really are. In bed alone, with only themselves to carry the awful burden of being themselves. As a short-term escape from their overpowering loneliness, they might turn to drugs, liquor, or other substances. When they have to be by themselves for any constant length of time without the consolation of people, they cannot face it and must try some way to soften its blow or blur out its reality. Even though they fib like no one else, there will be occasions when these times they are left alone. At such times, their conceit will crumble back to earth and reveal an altogether different truth. To confront their real selves is not just an inconvenience, rather, it is the most significant matter they have ever had to deal with. It forces them to seriously confront issues of identity and place in the world. Knowing they are being left alone without the despot's power that had been such a comfort to them, and is here no longer gets them all worked up and gloomy. This reveals just how weak a narcissist's self-esteem actually is, resting as it does on the favour of others. Without this backing, they feel completely void of worth. They are afraid of it happening, to be left alone in an utterly unprotected concert with their own private world. That's when the difference between public image and private life becomes way crazed for most narcissists, showing how hard they're trying to avoid themselves. They are alone without choice times point out just how delicate this person is, a fact that they take infinite care to hide. This is why their web of lies, their charm, and the boundless quest after flattery protect them from this vulnerability. But they try to hide who they are, the deeper into their lies, making it harder and harder to reach out to others, or even themselves accept. It's difficult to predict what is going to happen in relationships, especially if you are involved with a narcissist. Take the example of how sports teams and their managers make prognoses. Let's consider the second option, supply B. It is a promise towards something great. Like when you choose a new professional athlete who has great ambitions ahead of him and feels manipulated at that time. But after a short relativistic time nonetheless, one can see that supply B is just not the same thing as the main supply. And so, the narcissist lugs it as the best match anyway, because who cares about appearances these days? The response of an imaginary city's people to their star quarterback, John Champion, after this kind of loss is similar to this one. Suppose there is a town anywhere in America where Champion, renowned for his match-winning touch, loses 4 times consecutively. The selfish city slowly stops believing in Champion and decides he is over the hill. They want a new beginning, so they hire a young man to bring them luck. However, this youngster lacks Champion's experience and skills, so he bungles his lines like Alex Anderson in a sitcom that cannot really grasp the basics. After the city rushed to make a decision, everyone who had supported it growing quickly changed their minds and silently mourned in unison. When no one is around, it is easy to see why Champion was put on the back burner. But pride and appearance made the city unwilling to admit this mistake immediately. Like narcissistic perverts, city bosses would rather wait until things have gone back to normal before denying their faults. Alex Anderson's blemishes are more and more revealing over time. Every game is corrupted by mistakes, slow reactions, and missed opportunities, unlike the broadly aggressive play of Champion. The city begins to yearn for the days of victory and glory when it had a champion. That feeling of gladness at the beginning with this newcomer soon turns into regret for your old star. Feelings are that Champion will come back, and people are afraid they will lose everything. Intimacy isn't an amusement park that one partner constantly wants to be flawless while the other is always wrong. City leaders who, like narcissists, can only accept a perfect reality will produce every new venture with declining results than any one of their predecessors. City leaders frequently make rash decisions that lead to bad results, such as getting rid of champion after a temporary downfall. At the same time, the original source, such as champion, achieved success in other places. This also shows how foolish this city was when it spoke to them of throwing its gains away so quickly. Narcissists are in the habit of seeking perfection with no problems, but sooner or later they must pay the bills for mistakes. This then spins into a cycle of failure and yearning meant to last forever. In this more general image, sports teams, such as the Dallas Cowboys, exhibit loyalty and perseverance by being patient. This is quite different from the narcissist's spin. In the past, even if it meant giving up real rapport, lasting success, and beauty, it is a story about snap judgments, regretting them, and chasing after something impossible. It can serve as a lesson for sports and personal relations. At the end, being in a relationship with a narcissist can be extremely dangerous because they will manipulate your emotions to cause a fight. In order to get validation, narcissists often leave and find new partners, which love their self-esteem and breaks hearts. Narcissists have got to face the inner void at some point, but at least it looks like there is a light on whatever comprehensible path to follow in the straight translation of an article about this subject from Jed Fedinquang. Instead, we can break this vicious circle and cultivate a truly honest, emotionally close interpersonal bond by concretely making contact reflecting our common desire for integrity and sympathetic understanding. Did you like it? Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel to read more thought-provoking interviews like this one. We can develop content that is as important to our viewers with your help as you make an investment in grassroots media self-sufficient. We must also make a community where people can support each other and grow together. Thanks for taking the trip with us. Here's what an empath needs to know to outsmart and destroy a narcissist very quickly. When you adopt a stance of silence and disinterest toward a narcissist, observe as they unleash a storm of chaos. Witness the tumultuous roller coaster ride that characterizes the intricate dance within a relationship with a narcissist. Their conduct oscillates between purposeful neglect, sudden bursts of intense attention, and swift shifts to detachment and apathy, leaving you in a state of bewildering uncertainty. Identify these calculated mind games designed to destabilize any sense of stability in the relationship. The narcissist's goal is to undermine your confidence, sowing seeds of doubt about your inherent worth. Examining narcissistic tendencies through the prism of biblical teachings adds a unique perspective. The Bible highlights the perils of self-absorption, emphasizing virtues such as humility and compassion towards others. Essentially, it underscores the incongruity between narcissistic behavior and spiritual ideals. Seeking solace and guidance from the Bible becomes crucial when navigating the complexities of a relationship entangled with a narcissist. In moments of emotional turmoil, finding strength in the Bible's teachings and seeking support from reliable sources becomes imperative. The scriptures not only denounce narcissistic traits, but also guide individuals toward personal growth and resilience. For instance, Philippians 2-3 encourages prioritizing the welfare of others and embracing humility, a direct contradiction to the self-centered nature of narcissism. Exploring these teachings can clarify the significance of selflessness in personal growth, empowering individuals to confront the challenges presented by narcissists. While navigating the intricate landscape of relationships intertwined with narcissists, tapping into the transformative potential of biblical wisdom and seeking unwavering support from reliable allies becomes paramount. The Bible serves as a steadfast guide for understanding the consequences of self-centeredness, establishing a sturdy foundation to navigate the complexities of such relationships with resilience and determination. Upholding the principles of humility and selflessness, as advocated by the Bible, equips individuals to liberate themselves from the emotional turmoil inflicted by narcissists, fostering personal and spiritual well-being. Now let's delve into the classic strategy employed by narcissists in relationships, the intricate push and pull game they adeptly use to elicit desired responses from partners or sources by oscillating between engagement and withdrawal. This maneuver perpetuates an unrelenting cycle. But what if a different approach is embraced? What if, instead of reacting to their withdrawal and apathy, one mirrors their actions and continues with their pursuits? Initially, anticipation might arise, assuming an infatuation with them. However, if the pattern remains unchanged, it throws them into disarray. The narcissist becomes perplexed, uneasy, their self-assurance wavering. Is the interest not as passionate as presumed? Could persisting in these games jeopardize losing the connection altogether? Delving into the realm of narcissistic behavior reveals a pattern that often catches individuals off guard. Imagine this scenario. The narcissist reinitiates contact, veiled in the guise of friendliness. "Hey there, long time no see. Where have you been hiding? Why no call or outreach?" It's a calculated move, a deliberate act to test your reaction. Should you display any signs of unease or lack of commitment, their objective becomes clear: to gauge your level of interest. Should your response appear lukewarm, their next move is all-encompassing. Affectionate gestures flood in, attempting to recapture your attention. But the twist arrives swiftly, leaving you bewildered. Suddenly, they withdraw, reveling in the satisfaction of unsettling you. The resulting anxiety is palpable. What if this pattern endures? What if you stand your ground and reciprocate with indifference to their apathetic maneuvers? The thought of them attempting to create distance, only for you to repel them further, enters your mind. Oddly enough, should they view you as a prized catch, this back and forth amplifies their obsession. It's as though you've outwitted them at their own game, an astonishing feat considering their belief in their superior cunning and street smarts. Yet here you stand, flipping the script, leaving them confounded by your lack of pursuit. Embarking on the complex journey of dealing with narcissists calls for intricate maneuvers, yet an intriguing strategy can unexpectedly shift the dynamics. While conventional wisdom often suggests confrontation or avoidance, an unconventional tactic involves a subtle psychological dance that leaves the narcissist in a state of bewilderment, questioning the effectiveness of their usual methods. This alternative approach reshapes the narrative, prompting the narcissist to ponder why you deviate from their anticipated responses. The blend of frustration and fascination becomes a powerful catalyst as they grapple with understanding your unconventional reactions. The dynamics between you and the narcissist undergo a remarkable transformation. In this intricate dance, their attention shifts. They become more engrossed in deciphering your actions than you are in theirs. Inadvertently challenging their perceived dominance becomes your advantage. Your behavior sparks their curiosity, leading them to question your motives and methods. Wrestling with the puzzle of your actions, you unknowingly gain the upper hand in a game they are accustomed to winning. The brilliance of this approach lies in compelling the narcissist to invest emotional energy in a situation outside their usual script. It becomes a tantalizing puzzle for them, unintentionally ensnaring them in their own creation. However, it's crucial to tread cautiously, avoiding prolonged engagement in their games. Maintaining a healthy balance in the relationship and preventing the narcissist from becoming overly emotionally invested in the realm of detachment is pivotal. To sidestep reciprocal games, choosing a certain level of distance while refraining from providing excessive material for contemplation facilitates a natural progression away from certain situations. The complexity of disentangling involves not only physical separation, but also orchestrating a subtle emotional disconnect. By maintaining emotional autonomy, you not only safeguard your mental well-being, but also disrupt the expected manipulative maneuvers of those involved. Liberating oneself from the intricacies of a narcissist demands a multifaceted approach. It's not just about individual resilience, but also about establishing a robust support network. Recognizing the emotional toll imposed by such relationships is the initial step toward healing. Seeking assistance, whether through therapy, confiding in trustworthy companions, or other avenues, does not signify weakness, but rather exemplifies strength in the pursuit of well-being. Prioritizing your mental health marks a personal triumph in the battle against the grip of narcissistic influence. It's a journey filled with challenges, and yet a sturdy support system acts as a buffer against these trials. Remember, when confronting the intricacies of a narcissist's mind, resisting the urge to mirror their behavior or seek their attention in you is crucial. Strategic planning to exit toxic situations minimizes entanglement in unnecessary drama. Acknowledging that a narcissist's relentless quest for dominance is their own burden enables one to concentrate on the journey towards liberation amidst the intricacies. Embrace the positive energy and love surrounding you, recognizing that each step propels you toward a more robust and fulfilling life. Wishing you strength on your path of self-discovery and recovery. May each day bring you nearer to a wholesome existence. Take care and treasure the progress you achieve. After leaving you, a narcissist is very stressed out and angry. Ever wondered why a narcissist becomes furious and stressed after leaving you? Let's dive into the chaotic aftermath of a narcissist's departure and why it sends them spiraling. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss our latest content. If this resonates with you, give us a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Alright, let's get into it. Picture this. A narcissist has left you. They're furious and stressed because, despite their attempts to manipulate you into submission, you didn't bow down and worship them. They realize you've reached your limit and refuse to indulge their insatiable need for attention. So they walk away, feeling both satisfied and betrayed. Why does this happen? You were their primary source of narcissistic supply. They constantly pestered you, made threats, and manipulated you to get what they needed. But when you've been gaslighted, triangulated, and devalued for too long, you eventually snap and start to distance yourself. This loss of control over you leaves the narcissist in a state of panic and anger. They're no longer able to draw the energy they crave, and this realization drives them crazy. So, if you find yourself dealing with a narcissist, remember this. Their stress